is our third day. Dito ako sa taas. So, dito ako. So, wala makita yung araw.
Wow, sunrise
Sige, sa third
Canada
floor kami.
side.
Wow, it's cold. Oh my goodness. Okay, nakikita ko na ang bukid. Lalabas kami mamaya sa aming barko. Group waiting our Canadian interview.
It's the interview! Yoo-hoo!
The Halifax explosion, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now off to the passenger side again, this is the Muir. It's a brand new hotel. It's just opened here in the city, and it's a high-end luxury hotel. I think the rooms are starting somewhere around $450 a night there. It's got a set of stairs that go right into the harbor, and then a set of stairs that go called the Rise that go up into the air, and it's quite spectacular. And this leads right into the newest to one of the oldest here in the city. If you look down here, you're going to see the cable wharf. Now the cable wharf is from that actual dock that they went out to lay the transatlantic cable. So the first transatlantic cables were laid from here over to Europe. And it's also from that wharf that the ships went out to gather the victims of the Titanic there. Now, as we travel along here, we're going by our law courts, and it's interesting, as we pass the law courts, keep looking. I'm going to ask Mike to slow as best he can. It's pretty slow anyhow, but when you look down through the next alleyway here, you're going to see 10 of the oldest buildings here in the city. This is called privateers, wharf privateers, historic properties there. A lot of films have been filmed there because of the way it looks, and those buildings date back to the privateers that lived here in Nova Scotia, and we will be talking about those also on our way to Peggy's Cove. Now, I should point out, if you haven't already guessed, I'm a retired school teacher, and I have dyslexia, so I do not know my left from my right on a good day. So I'm going to go passenger side and driver side. Is that going to be all right for everybody? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So on the passenger side here, you're going to see two great big blue buildings here. We call them the milk bottle buildings, but they're called Purdy's 1 and 2.
Okay.
And in 1980, when these buildings were built, they were state-of-the-art. They're actually built out over the water. They suck seawater from the harbor up the side of the building, and they help to heat and cool the building. And it was so successful, and it saved millions of dollars in heating and cooling, and it's been used now all over the world there. Now those lovely little turrets that you see there, that's the Halifax Casino here, and it's from there back to your ship is where the boardwalk goes. It's a 1.5 mile walk, so from there back to your ship. Now coming off to the passenger side again, this is the naval base. Now it is the oldest and largest naval base in Canada, and it's the second oldest naval base in North America City, and that's our sister city, Dartmouth. And it's connected by two bridges that you see, you're going to see, we can't see it yet, we're going to come up to it as we hear. Two bridges. One was built in 55 and one is built in 1970. Now the one that's coming up first is the oldest bridge, built in 55. And kind of interestingly, about 3 years ago, that had a new section of the bridge. They would pull that up, crazy glue it in space, and then the next morning us brave souls from Dartmouth would drive over here to Halifax just to test, make sure it's working. Well, it actually only 2 mornings did we have to stop traffic on there, and they raised the bridge by over 10 feet. So it's only been done once before anywhere in the world. The second time was done here in Halifax. Now we're heading out to the Fairview Lawn Cemetery. Usually we do the Fairview Lawn Cemetery when we're coming back from Peggy's Cove. So I have all this highway time to talk about. The question is, why are we talking about the Titanic here in Halifax? Because that makes people think, well, the Titanic must have sank close to here. Well, actually, the Titanic sank over 749 nautical miles away from here, which is quite a distance. It's off the coast of Newfoundland. And of those bodies, a lot of them were not in good shape, and because they had run out of coffins and body bags, they also had to bury some at sea. So we had 116 people that ended up being buried at sea, even though the bodies were recovered. Now, that coming into Halifax, themselves have paid extra to have that done. You're going to also notice on the headstone the number. So this one is 313. So this is one of the last bodies. 329 bodies found, and 313 is one of the last bodies that was found. If the body was identified, then the name is up here.
Sabi ng tour guide namin, 80% sa cemetery na to ay mga victim sa Titanic. Yun ang sabi niya, 80%. And then, meron pang nakalibing dito na wala mga pangalan, na mga unknown. And then, na-touch ako dun sa isang baby na nailibing din nila na as in wala talagang pangalan. Hindi na nakita kung sino o kanino at sino ang family niya. So, bigla ako napa-atras kasi na-attach ako dun sa baby, sa newborn baby. Ilang baby ang namatay dyan. So, hindi ako masyadong lumapit kasi medyo na-touch talaga ako sa story ng cemetery na ito, na karamihan ay victim ng Titanic.
If you're interested, there's lots of books that talk about other individuals that are buried there. Some the body number one, somebody said, well, you know, they're not laid in order, and that's because they were hoping to identify.
Continue to be continued. Thank you for watching my vlog. The next video.
Evelyn Auger.